Alrighty, so I'm Molly Hennekam, as we know. I work for the Unmanned Research Aircraft Facility within the University of Adelaide, and I'm going to have a quick talk to you about the use of drones for conservation and beyond. So what I wanted to start with was giving you a really quick rundown of one of the projects that we've been working on in collaboration with Ju and the local NRM team down on Kangaroo Island. So as I'm sure almost everyone's already aware, on Kangaroo Island, koalas are not native to the area. They have been introduced and their population has been seen to reach really quite high densities. So at the moment, the best method that we have for estimating these koala populations is sending our trained ground counters out through either the blue gum plantations or the native veg and trying to spot these koalas from below. So what we wanted to have a look into was whether we could use drone technology to actually spot these koalas from above the canopy and perhaps save the ground counters' necks a little bit. So we focused on the blue gum plantations for this first study, and what we did was we got up nice and early in the morning and completed thermal surveys like with the FLIR on the right hand side there, off the bottom of a drone over plots within blue gum plantations. Now, the early starts were great for the data because it enabled us to get the greatest difference in temperature between the koalas and the surrounding vegetation. Not so great for the researchers, but that's all right. So, as you can see, we did get really clear, and it is really quite obvious to be able to spot these koalas out from the surrounding vegetation. And within the areas we were working in as well, there wasn't any additional arboreal species within the area that we could have confused for the koalas. There was a couple of possum species, but they were quite significantly smaller, so we could be quite confident, as you can see from this chunky guy here, that what we were spotting were koalas. At the same time as we were running those thermal surveys, we dragged the ground counters out and got them to complete the ground surveys as well, so we would be able to get a bit of a comparison between the two methodologies. And as you can see, generally from the study, the drone surveys did tend to result in a higher population density estimate than the ground surveys. And this was a really promising result for the use of this technology for koala population monitoring. It's a good indication that perhaps this tech can go towards improving the methods that we do use to currently estimate and monitor these populations. So I just now want to move on to a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So we're essentially the University of Adelaide's drone hub. So we do research in a variety of different areas, like that little snippet I just showed you. We also manage all compliance and safety of drone use for the university and all of its campuses. We do fee-for-service contract work for surveying, as well as doing training in more broad applications of drone use for conservation, as well as more formal training for CASA-accredited licensing. And we're a bit of an information hub on the use of drone tech in this kind of space. We work with, obviously, all throughout the university, from academics through to students and different units within the university, as well as partnering with government departments such as PERSA and Ju, as well as partnering really quite strongly with a couple of different non-for-profits such as Conservation International and Bush Heritage Australia. So what I wanted to do quickly now was run you through a few of the different projects that we do, just to give you a bit of an insight into the kind of thing we use drones for and what you could potentially use the technology for yourselves. So this is out in the Amazon rainforest, partnering with Conservation International Peru, and it's the implementation, essentially the idea of the project is to improve the response times to illegal logging within the Amazon. So we've got these sound sensors out in the rainforest, and they're able to track chainsaw sounds within the rainforest, and that's able to allow real-time deployment of drones and authorities within the area in which the sound was detected. We're also looking to improve the way in which we monitor and estimate orangutan populations. At the minute, it's done really similarly to the way that koalas are done. So we're trying to improve the efficiency in which we complete those surveys. We also look at monitoring, this is in partnership with Conservation International New Caledonia team. This is a couple of our guys over there trying to get to the bottom of why there's been a really increased rate of dieback of these beautiful ancient kauri trees up in the higher altitudes of New Caledonia. So trying to get a handle on that in areas that are really quite difficult to get to by foot. And we also do quite a bit of work in the ag space as well. So down the bottom here is looking at trying to improve the methods that we use for crop trials and a lot of the really time-consuming measurements associated with that. So hopefully this has given you sort of a speed through of a bit of an idea about what we use drone technology for and what you could potentially look at using it for. Please feel free, if you're remotely interested in the tech, to come and have a chat to us. Myself, our director Ramesh, and Jared, who's going to be taking the floor in a second, are going to be around throughout the conference, or please feel free to flick us an email or grab us on the website. We'd love to have a chat to you about any kind of potentials. Thank you.